Alright, so we just came back from the... Oh, sorry, let's start over. What's up, everyone? It's Osco.blog, and this is the sequel to the previous video where I talk about, what I've been up to since I quit my corporate job in April. So, to continue that video, I don't know how long ago you watched it, but I recorded it around, let's say, 15 minutes ago. And today is the day after the Mid-Autumn Festival in Asian culture. So I was told by my Chinese friends that you can get these delicious mooncakes, which are usually really expensive and sell out very quickly. Anything that's not sold over, or sold out, doesn't make sense, is like very much on discount. So kind of like, Christmas decorations the day after Christmas, or like Valentine's Day chocolate after Valentine's Day, like kind of like that. So I just came back from a dinner with my old team and my old company, and on the way to that place was this grocery store called H Mart. So H Mart is an Asian grocery store, normally. I went to the one in Manassas, which is populated by Hispanics, and I should have known from the moment I walked in that there's going to be no damn mooncakes in this place. I look around and I only see people who look like me. People who probably don't know what the Mid-Autumn Festival is. So if I ask any of these people, English or Spanish, where the mooncakes are, they're like... So yeah, I walked around for a little bit, saw nothing. There was like maybe 2 sections in the whole store that had like Asian goods, maybe 3. It was kind of surreal because a lot of the signage inside was kind of like a little bit like Beijing. The one time I went, it was English at the top in big letters, and under it was like, I think it was Korean. Probably wasn't Mandarin. I probably should have actually checked. But yeah, walked around, saw no mooncakes at all. Very disappointed today. Today completely ruined. Actually, I believe that life goes in waves. So you have high points and low points. So whenever you're at a high point, you should brace yourself and expect something bad to happen or inconvenient. Basically, just something not pleasant. And then when you have that unpleasantness come over you, brace yourself, because you're going to go through a good time. At least that's how my life is kind of propagated throughout itself, the more that I've noticed. Maybe it's just a life goes beyond. Anyway, I was on a really good high today. Went to get mooncakes. No mooncakes at all, so I might have to go on a trip tomorrow to the other Asian grocery stores that actually have Asian people in them and see what I can find, if they're not sold out by now. And if not, it's okay. Life goes on. I'll just have to be more ready to go deeper, to actually invest into this culture if I want these freaking mooncakes. Sorry, this is supposed to be an update about me, but this is like the most important thing about today, so this is what you're going to get. Alright, so back to what I was saying. So we're gonna, right now it's September, we're gonna roll back a little bit to August to kind of catch you up onto what I've been working on personally. So the first weekend of August is the BuildSpace IRL event. For those of you who don't know what BuildSpace is, it was a 6-week online program where you could work on your ideas. And I've talked about it in the other videos, but I'll just give you the short summary. So 20,000 people started this program. At the end of the 6 weeks, less than 5,000 actually got to the end and submitted something week per week on whatever idea they're working on. And if you did enough of those submissions, you could be eligible to attend the in-person event. So I've been lucky enough to have the privilege to save up enough money to go to various places and various events around the world. Not a lot compared to rich people, I guess I'll say, but enough for someone who grew up from immigrant parents. But this event holds a special place in my heart because it is one of the few places where everyone is overly eager and overly friendly about wanting to talk to you about whatever idea you're working on. So if you're working on a book, if you're working on a music album, if you're working on a software business, you could be making a movie, it doesn't matter. People want to hear what you're working on and give you ideas on how to get to the next level kind of thing. It's such a nice, wholesome place. It is like as close as what I can envision a utopia being, for my personal definition. And every single time this company BuildSpace had an in-person event, I would go out of my way to make sure that I could be eligible to go. I'll take vacation days off, I'll spend whatever it took, I would go. And this was a pretty hard choice to go to this time around, because on the same exact dates, there was my favorite anime convention that I normally go to with friends. And this time I was going with a new friend group that I recently made. But I kind of asked myself this and agonized for months. Because they announced that the IRL event was happening in, I think, May. And it actually happened in August. So I had like around 2 or 3 months of leeway to kind of actually book everything if I intended to go. So what I kind of ended up doing was kind of having two, like the red pill and blue pill from like the Matrix, right? So it's like, if I go to the anime convention, which is in my local hometown, I would definitely have a good time. I would definitely deepen the bond with the friends that I would attend. But I don't think I would change as a person. I would still be the same kind of goofy, like not being serious, like just having a fun time person, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But if I went the other way, I would meet people that would probably change my life forever. I know, big lofty claim, right? But that's literally what I thought was going to happen. And I would at least get clarity on pushing the needle to figure out what the next step is for what I want to do in life. So I've always loved stories. I've always loved reading. I've always loved VR. So I wanted to find some sort of way to kind of combine those two things. And I think, as chance may have it, I got that first step. So at this IRL event, I met a lot of interesting characters for the first time. I re-met some interesting characters from the last time I went. But one person was kind of peculiar. I can definitely go into a whole story about why this person is very interesting, but all in good ways, thankfully. But one thing led to another, and we're co-founders now for an app idea. What app idea, you may ask? That is an excellent question. Let me tell you. So this person I met is actually from the San Francisco area, and they are a professional dancer. And I like VR stuff, but I want to learn how to dance. So I kind of jokingly pitched the idea, like, hey, what if we make an app where you put in a dance routine, and then through some AI, voodoo, black magic bullshit, I don't know, it'll make you a dance routine that you can practice in virtual reality at your own pace, in your own customized level, for free. And I said it as a joke, and then, they kind of looked at me, like, am I being for real? And they're like, wait, this guy's actually being for real. Like, wait, this is actually a good idea. And I've never seen someone this person is hilarious because, they have very minimal technical background, I'll say. They have the ability to learn, which I think is important. But they didn't come out, as a God coder or God VR developer. They're just someone who loves to dance and someone who can, you fuck up an Excel document if need be, kind of thing. Like that level of expertise kind of thing. So we kind of partnered up, and then we're just trying to go through and make this idea. So that was the first week of August. Around that same time, I got the invite to this thing called the AWS Meta XR Hackathon Gen AI for the Future ABCD EFG. Essentially, AWS and Meta have a couple of very prominent peeps. I'll personally say prominent, that make a hackathon every year with the intent of kind of having Meta as the forefront of the technology, but having AWS as the backing for how this technology is served. So match made in heaven kind of thing. And I actually went to the first one last year, which was in Seattle. Fuck Seattle, by the way. It's probably not that bad. I just had out of all the cities I've gone to, it is definitely on the lower end, but maybe I just went during the wrong time of year. Maybe it's always the wrong time of year. It's always sad, though. I went to a hackathon straight from El Salvador when I was in El Salvador, and the reception I got from the people who live in that city was like night and day. It's like El Salvador, everyone daps you up. They're like, hey, what's up? Everyone's happy to be there kind of thing. Seattle's I was still oozing that energy from El Salvador when I got off the plane, and then I started to kind of make eye contact with people, smile, not my head, and they're like, oh my god, this man's gonna kill me. Why is this guy looking at me? Oh my god. And they would just turn away, very scared kind of thing. It was yeah. I'm not a big fan of that city, amongst many other reasons that I could definitely rant about, but anyway. So the first hackathon, AWS Meta XR Hackathon, was in Seattle. They redid it again, to my surprise, and this time it was actually NSF in the Bay Area. Actually, pretty close to the Meta HQ in Menlo Park, which is pretty cool. So I attended. I linked up again with that co-founder that I met at the Build Space IRL event, and we got a random third person to work on an idea who's brilliant, but brilliant, but a little bit hard to work with. Sorry for watching this video. I love you, bro, but you're just doing your own thing. yeah, so I pitched that idea to my co-founder again and that guy, and we're like, let's do it. Let's get to it. So for the next 3 days, that was probably the hardest that I've worked in a long time. Like, I was eating, living, breathing, thinking about how to make this VR app in 3 days. And what I described to you is literally like a mixed reality app that intakes dance videos and uses AI to create dance routines for you. So in 3 days, we cannot get as far as even the lowest tier vision that I had. What we ended up having was so there's a different game that I kind of inspired the idea off of called Dance Dash, which is across many different platforms. But essentially, if you've ever played Dance for Stardom, you probably have not. But if you if you have not, it's basically a game where it's a giant like grid under you that's like kind of freeform. So it's not like DDR where it's like 4 arrows that you step on. It's like a giant freeform touchpad for your feet, and then you just kind of step like this, like you're shuffling a little bit, and it will just make the dance routine for you. So they made a whole game around that, which I play sometimes, which is fantastic, and actually imports a lot of the maps from Dance for Stardom, which is fantastic. But to kind of have that work, you have to have the controller strapped to your feet or somewhere on the lower part of your body. So on top of the fact that the game costs a little bit of money, like $15, it also requires you to have like a separate accessory, like a strap that you could put your controller in and then act as your feet. So I use that accessory to kind of model this idea. And the way we want to implement our dance game idea was have the controller strapped to your lower body somewhere, thigh, feet, whatever, and that would be your bottom section of your body, and then have the hand tracking work at the same time separately. So you have 4 points that you have to kind of control and then be in different points in space to be your dance routine. And we struggled for the first 2 days just to get them to work at the same time. We thought it was impossible until my goat, Yan Min, I'll put his LinkedIn somewhere in the picture. His LinkedIn does not represent how cool this man is in real life. This guy's like dripping. Okay, if we're gonna like shout out people right now from the hackathon, so Yan Min, definitely the goat, saved the day. Felix, the goat, saved the day. God, XR developer. Rick, the goat, came back with a lot of cool ideas. Bala, my goat, was just supportive the whole time. And oh my god, I think there's one more guy's name, Andy, the goat. And all the staff there from both the AWS and Meta side were the goats. I love these guys so much. They're amazing. They really, you could tell they actually really care about stuff they're working on, and they're really excited for not just my team, but everyone's product they're working on. So like, it was such great energy. Freaking love those guys and gals. So yeah, at the end of 3 days, we ended up with an app where you have to have the accessory that was originally meant for your feet strapped to your knee, like upper thigh, because if the headset you're wearing couldn't physically look at the controller, it could not figure out where you were and assume they were not using it. And the hand tracking worked fine, which is cool. And we just made a very simple dance routine where you have to kind of like, there's blocks in space, and then your knees and hands were different color blocks, so you just kind of match the color blocks to the right places, and that was kind of the dance routine. And we fumbled through it. We did some AWS stuff in the back end, and then we somehow got third. So there was 2 tracks for the competition. So there was the Gen AI track, and then there was the e-commerce track. I said as a joke that e-commerce would have been the easier track to win on because it's kind of boring and hard to revolutionize on. But the top 3 people for e-commerce were freaking like insane. Okay, actually, let me take that. The top 2 people for each category were insane. Like the gap between first and second was insane, and the gap between second and third was even more insane. So even though we got third, like even if we added everything I initially anticipated, like, you know, a working app where you could submit a video, it would use AI to make the routine and put in VR, I think we actually could have won, because we could have showed that off in person and be like, whoa, they're dancing, whoa, so cool, whoa. But we didn't get anywhere close to that because we were just not experienced VR developers kind of thing. So even though it was still a dub, it still felt like a loss, but I think from losing, you realize all the things that you're lacking. So I spent the next couple of weeks after that hackathon just to kind of get better at making VR apps. So that's kind of the rolling into September. And one cool thing about getting third place, not even that, just for attending that AWS Meta Hackathon, was that you got an invite for being there. You got an invite to Meta Connect, and that has been like my dream to attend in person. So if you don't know Meta Connect is, imagine the Apple keynote. And if you don't know what the Apple keynote is, it's like an event where Apple showcases all their they showcase latest phones, any new like products, all the new updates, blah blah blah. So Meta Connect is like Facebook's version of all that. So like all the newest headsets, all the newest accessories, the newest things for Instagram, the Ray-Ban glasses, like all that kind of stuff. So to attend that event in person, you need to be somebody somewhere in Meta's periphery. But normally it's like if you're prominent in the XR space, so like you're a great like company making games, you're like a reporter, you're a content creator, blah blah blah, like you would get the invite to go. Because I was kind of working at a corporate job and just kind of goofing off and doing XR on the side, I didn't think I would get that so soon in my life. So I am really excited, and I kind of feel like I kind of just got this almost coincidentally. Like I don't know if I deserve it in a sense, because I just showed up to a hackathon, which I could have placed in, could have not placed in, kind of thing. But that happenstance kind of got me thinking, if I want to really elevate my XR development, where should I be in the world? My intention was actually to move to a cheap country like El Salvador and to learn more about the culture, get a cool Spanish accent, maybe even learn Mandarin, because they have a big prominent Chinese influence in El Salvador now, which is a whole different story. But most notably, like, because it's a lot cheaper to live there and the quality of life isn't too different from what I live here in the United States, I think I could definitely use the money that I save from working at my corporate job to, pad out how much time I would have left before I had to get a corporate job again to sustain myself. So that was the first and foremost plan that I had. But after this happenstance, to getting invited to Meta Connect just for being in San Francisco, it kind of got me thinking, what if I just stay in the city full time? Like, would more things like this happenstance happen just because I was in the city, in the right place at the right time? I kind of think that's how luck works. It's just you being in the right place at the right time because you chose to be there. So I'm kind of toying with the idea of moving to San Francisco sometime early next year. I want to spend the rest of the year, September now, I want to spend the rest of the year just kind of making as many good memories with the friends I have here before I leave to El Salvador, San Francisco, Taiwan, what have you, kind of thing. I also want to go, I think I want to go to Taiwan to teach English so I can learn Mandarin in person, but all the things I've heard about the capital just sound like everything I hate about living in Northern Virginia. So stay tuned if I actually have my East Asian arc, I guess. So yeah, that's kind of the update now. Met a cool co-founder at the BuildSpace event, met up with them again, and got their place at a XR hackathon. Got invited to Meta Connect, which is next week. And the next video I post will probably be covering what the experience was like, and if some cool things happen, get some little investors here and there. Don't know what's gonna happen. I have no expectations. But like I said, being in the right place at the right time will prove to open new opportunities and new doors. So let's just see what life has in store. And if not, I'm gonna just keep on the grind. I'm gonna keep making XR stuff. I'm gonna make Sword Art Online real. You heard it here first. Thanks for watching.